right, dear friends, how are you today? Aaron Michael Eschenberg here, Honest Dame, bringing you some honest astrology about the coronavirus, COVID-19, and where are we now? As of making this video, it is Thursday the 26th. I'll show you the astrology chart here. Thursday the 26th of March 2020, right? We're all dealing with, these symptoms. We're dealing with this government, right? Capricorn government figure, putting us at our personal safety. The sun is in Aries, moon is exalted here in the sign of Taurus. In a sense, we should be starting to feel a little bit more grounded, centered, and balanced while dealing with what's going on around us, okay? Okay, that's the moon's job. The moon's job right now over the next couple of days here is going to make sure that we as individuals are stable during this time. All right, the sun's job right now in Aries is to spark the fire within us, okay? As we're going to be feeling as this month continues, that spark of individuality of the sun in Aries squaring off to the authority. Okay, the authority is, of course, Capricorn, and we have Jupiter conjunct Pluto until the 7th of April. Okay, it's at 23 degrees Jupiter, 24 degrees Pluto. So this conjunction is going to be happening throughout the beginning of April. And as the sun begins to transit through Aries, again, starting to square all of this stuff, this authoritative figure. I want to go outside and walk and play and connect with my loved ones, my friends, whatever it may be. And yet we're isolated and alone, right? Now, we have been able to see, if you've been watching astrologers, they've been talking about this, something like this coming for quite some time. There's a lot of different things. I'll go back to the chart here. All right, we had a Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn that happened in January. All right, now the last time that happened was 1982 over here in the sign of Scorpio. Okay, and the Saturn-Pluto opposition was September 11th, 2001, right around there, okay? So these are economic collapses, economic collapses whenever we see Saturn and Pluto connect together. And this being in the sign of Capricorn, we knew this was coming in one way or another. We just didn't know how or what it was going to be, what was going to create this economical collapse, right? And instead of human warfare, we have a virus going on, which on one side, I want to say is better. It's, this is a wildfire to humanity right now, okay? Which is much better than our brothers and sisters at war with one another. It's ourselves and nature, okay? So this is a very different feeling than being at a war and hitting an economical collapse, okay? Jupiter as well being in the sign of Capricorn. The last time that happened was 2008. Certainly in the United States, there was a huge depreciation economically. Okay, so Jupiter's been in Capricorn since December of 2019 and will be there until December of 2020. This is another sign that we had seen there was going to be some sort of a collapse going on, right? The other is Uranus down there in Taurus. Now, this is something else that I'm sure a lot of astrologers have been talking about for quite some time. Uranus in Taurus, the last time it entered Taurus was June 6th of 1934. Okay, this was the heart of the Great Depression. We were on rations. We didn't have money as we know it. It was illegal to carry gold, just like now we're talking about a government supplement, supplementing us our income because so many people are out of work right now, right? Unemployment is high, depression is high. We can see also signs of depression with the Saturn square Uranus, okay? That's going to be going on for several more months and leading into next year heavily, okay, into 2021. Because Saturn is going to retrograde back into Capricorn. Uranus is going to begin to move forward. And it's not till really a few months into next year that square is really going to take place. And these two are going to dance, and this will lead to a sense of depression. largely, globally, global depression, right? And as well with Uranus being in Taurus, there's been a lot of talk by myself and many, many, many other astrologers about, well, and Saturn as well here, moving into the digital age, the digital era of Aquarius, futuristic, okay, of talking about a digital currency or getting rid of the old currency and entering a new form of currency. Now, just here on this past Monday, on the 23rd, the United States put out that we're possibly going to be receiving these supplements in the form of digital currency, digital wallets. That hasn't been stamped and official that it's going to happen yet, because it could push back when we are going to be receiving that supplement as individuals who are out of work. But the fact that we are moving forward into the digital domain, personally, I invested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency a while back. And I strongly feel that that is a better way to go. It's a for the people, by the people. This is not going to be a big cryptocurrency talk, but however, we have a currency that's for the people, by the people, that's unregulated by any government, period. Okay, so receiving a digital dollar, the U.S. digital dollar, to me, it's still regulated. I mean, it is. It's not just to me. It is still regulated by the United States. It's still stamped here. And that we need, this future thinking, this future movement going ahead, and where we're headed as humanity, it has to be for humanity, right? It can't just be for a country. Okay, so I'm hugely promoting, I stand behind cryptocurrency. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that, but it's a very real future. Banks are closing. These brick and mortar buildings are closing down. We have, digital online shopping like Amazon flourishing. It's the richest company in the world. On that note, where are we now? Okay, that's what this video is really about. So we have all of this information, okay, and I can honestly say, everything is exactly in its right place. Okay. Now, the tragedy that goes along with this is certainly tragedy. It is tragic to have so many people hospitalized, so many people out of work, so many people dealing with being alone, depressed, worried, concerned, fearful for what's coming around the bend. Okay. And that's very real. It's very real. On one side, we can look at this astrology and we can say everything is lining up exactly. Astrology is simply a reflection. This is a reflection, as above, so below. Okay, and we're dealing with this authoritative figures keeping us in for our own personal safety and our personal health. And at the risk of our personal health, we have global economic health. Okay, economic health here in the United States. And when our economic health dwindles down and dithers, so does our personal health. Okay, so we really need to be taking care of ourselves during this time. And the sun in Aries is extremely important. Okay, the sun in Aries is saying, look, we need to spark the fire. We need to have the initiation, this passion, this urge. Okay, to even if we're laid off right now, to not allow depression to take over our individual psyche, our mindset, right? To try to get on some sort of a regiment. Okay, that is part of the beauty. We do have Mars exalted in the sign of Capricorn right now until the 30th of this month. Okay, then the 31st is going to conjunct Saturn. We'll see what happens then. Moving forward with more technology, basically. This technology is being pushed forward. There's going to be new vaccines, a new protocol and order and law for these vaccinations to come in, right? So technology, future, Saturn, law, order, structure. So these are all playing into part. And when we have Mars starting to join there on the 31st, conjunct Saturn on the 30th, 31st is exact, the 32nd, or the first 32nd of March, April 1st, that's still a conjunction, so we're still going to be seeing these new laws being implemented and a force of action moving forward, okay? So individually, what are things that we need to be doing? What are things that we need to be focused on? Okay. And what are things that we don't need to be focused on right now? As we have Mercury, our planet of communication, information, intuition, our planet of technology, our planet of trade goods. All right, in its weaker sign of Pisces. Okay, there's two sides to this coin. One, on the positive side, we need to be intuitive. We need to be very intuitive during this time. We need to listen to our bodies. We need to listen to ourselves. We need to listen to, again, our own source of inspiration here. Closing our eyes, going within, breathing deep, and separating ourselves from the noise. Now, Mercury in the sign of Pisces is foggy, is cloudy. You know, Pisces is the unknown, it's the abyss, right? Think of deep space. It's just like, you know, there is no sound in deep space. There is not, you know, there's a light in the distance, but it's not a definite thing. Like, it's not a definitive thing. Like, we can't always make out what something is, okay? So Neptune also rules the media. Pisces and Neptune rule the media. It also rules endings, okay? The completion of something, all right? So we're going to have Mercury. It's still in its shadow period right now, all the way until the 13th degree in a few days here. It's still in its shadow period from the retrograde cycle that we've been experiencing. Now, all planets are direct right now, okay? Which is an interesting thing during this time. All planets are direct. Yet we still feel this great pause with life, okay? Where we should be like, it's springtime, I'm spring cleaning, I'm getting things done, I'm going out, I'm beginning to socialize, the birds, the bees, the rabbits, the flowers, the trees are blooming, you know, all this stuff. And all this forward momentum in astrology, at the same time, there's this great pause. And what are we doing during this great pause? We're dealing with isolation, separation. Okay, churches are closed. We, you know, if you're a religious person, you know, it's just very interesting times as we rely on, you know, humans, we rely on getting together. We rely on connecting with one another to uplift each other and empower each other. And that is seized, that is paused, except through digital communication. You can pick up the phone, call somebody. You can Skype or have a FaceTime with somebody, you know, but there's a great distance between us at a time where we need the connection. Okay, so that in and of itself is extremely depressing. It can be extremely sad and disheartening, right? And we need to find this time to empower ourselves, of truly going inside, to find out what it is that we need, because we're dealing with our shadow. Okay, as a whole, as a global whole, we are dealing with our personal shadow that we have probably ignored for quite some time. Okay, because when we are busy, when we are going out into the community, when we are staying active and doing things, we can ignore the things in ourselves that we need to fix. And at this point in life, we're being, you know, forced to sit with ourselves, to sit with all of it. And that can be frightening. And what we're doing is we're diving into social media, we're diving into the lives of other people, diving into the news and CNN 24/7 and the updates. And it's like, at this time, we need to separate from all of it, okay? The information will find you. The information will find you. You don't, if you turned off, if you logged out of Facebook, logged out of Instagram, turned the news off, which I highly recommend. That's what the astrology is saying that we need during this time. Turn that stuff off, okay? Find yourself during this time. Find ourselves, okay? What if humanity never gets back? I'm just saying, what if? I'm not saying it will never, but I'm saying, what if humanity doesn't go back to how it used to be, okay? You know, it's funny too, like if you look back, you know, Jupiter's cycle, Jupiter here, what was this, 2016, 2017, right? Balance in the sign of Libra. Okay, we had the movement at this time was Black Lives Matter, right? We had that wonderful movement. It was very necessary in lives. Then Jupiter entered Scorpio on October 2017 till November 2018. Okay, and then we entered the Me Too movement. Okay, which was about power, right? Scorpio, sex, money, power, hidden agendas, things beneath the surface coming to arise. Okay, and the light being shown on it, and seeing how corrupt things are, or let's go with are, and how that needs to end, right? Then Jupiter entered its home sign of Sagittarius, where it's very free. Okay, Jupiter, our planet of expansion, more, whatever it is, it's the happy-go-lucky sign, or happy-go-lucky planet of expansion. And when it entered, in 2018 to 2019, it's like there was really no hashtag movement. These still exist and existed during this time, but there wasn't this great movement. There was this sense of personal freedom, this I can choose, I can learn and absorb knowledge and information taking the high road, and that's a beautiful sign. It's a beautiful connection. Now Jupiter moving into Capricorn, and it just moved in December, and it's over halfway through, but it will retrograde. These planets are all going to start retrograding here. Okay, there is no planet this year that will not retrograde. We're going to have a Mars retrograde, which happens once every 2 years. We're going to have a Venus retrograde through next month here in Gemini. Mars is going to retrograde for 6 months in Aries, which is going to test our patience, test our limits. And of course, Mercury is going to retrograde 2 more times here. Between Gemini, Cancer, and Libra, and Scorpio. Okay, so all of our outer planets, which retrograde for roughly 6 months, 5 to 6 months, one by one, these are all going to start to retrograde, and all of that feeling of pause, of moving backward, is going to come into effect. But right now, it's not. Okay. Now, if you've been following my channel, which I do these daily astrology videos, okay, I've been talking heavily about the conjunction, or excuse me, the connections between Neptune and the energies up here in Capricorn, okay? Capricorn being the physical reality, this physical world, the laws of this physical world, how we govern ourselves as individuals. Neptune is the dream, the unconscious, the creation, the imagination, and where our imaginations, okay, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Okay, Saturn rules Capricorn, and those two are making a connection, and they will make a connection when Saturn starts to retrograde again. Okay, the septile that you're seeing here with Mars septile to Neptune. Okay, Mars is our planet of action, moving forward, going ahead, being passionately driven. Neptune, again, our dreams, our unconscious minds, our imaginations, as well as media. That's why this connection here, we need to stop paying attention to the media. We need to stop paying attention to the outside lives of others. We're not living other people's lives. We're living our lives. We're not living, again, I say this all the time. I can't ask you to go to the gym for me and exercise and me benefit from that. It will never happen. I can't ask you to breathe for me. I can't ask you to go to yoga. I can't ask you for me to go sit down and meditate to benefit me. That has to be me. I have to do this myself. I have to do this inner work. Right now, the universe is screaming for us to do this inner work, to sit with ourselves, to sit with our shadow, to sit, and find our sense of happiness, to find our sense of joy, to find our sense of passion. Right? And if the world doesn't go back to how it was, which again, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but during this time, what makes us tick? What makes us happy? What makes us joyful? What makes us get out of bed in the morning? It's just like, again, with depression, there's no need to set an alarm right now. If you have no schedule, if you're alone in your apartment or your home, You know, your lover is on the other side of the state, city, other side of the country, whatever it may be. If your family's scattered about and you cannot see your family, you know, we're sitting with ourselves, again, in our shadow, which is a place that we as humans, you know, don't often like to go. And this is screaming, do this shadow work right now. Find your joy, find your centeredness, find your balance. It's the beauty as well of the moon being in Taurus right now, is finding our grounded balance, right? Sitting with ourselves and finding again what makes us spark, what makes us joyful. If you imagine just for a moment, if you were a multi-billionaire and you never needed to work again for the rest of your life, you know, mimosas on the beach and being served all day long will eventually lose its luster. Okay. And that's the same as going with this energy. It will lose its luster, and what is it that truly makes you happy? And it's of being of service, okay? Being of service to others. Now we're at this time where it's hard to bring our services to the world. We're at an interesting crossroad, right? How are we going to bring those services to other people? What would we be doing if we were multi-billionaires? You know, is there a reason to set an alarm, to get out of bed, to have a schedule, to have, you know, I'm failing the word right now, but either, you know, to keep us going? Is there a reason to get up at 8 a.m. when you have no job, no work to go to? You know, what is the answer? The answer is absolutely yes. The answer is absolutely yes. To stick on a regiment, that was the word I was looking for. You know, to stick on a personal regiment, because this is about our personal lives, not about the outside world, not about, and that's what the sun in Aries is showing us right now. It's not about the outside, it's about the inside. It's about my passion, my joy, my spark for life. And what am I doing with that passion? What am I doing with that joy? What am I doing with this? What are you doing with this? You know, we have this opportunity to go deep within ourselves, find what makes us the happiest, to find whatever it is that we want to do. What are the services that we want to create? What are the services that we want to bring to the world? And can we use technology in this interesting time to forge ahead? Okay. With Saturn being, you know, just entering into the sign, the visionary sign of Aquarius, you know, it's just like, again, we're painting the canvas. It's not just a blank canvas. We see what that canvas is going to turn into as the artist. Okay, we're the artist of our own lives, and we're creating our lives, and we're creating something better than we had ever imagined it was going to be. That is the beauty between the Neptune septiles and sextiles. Septiles are fate and destined energy. Okay, this is fate and destined energy that's going on right now. For us, you know, it's like the impossible. I never thought wildlife would grow here. Look at it like this. Look at it like this. Okay, this is a perfect analogy. We have a volcano. You know, before Hawaii was, you know, Hawaii how it is now. We have a volcano erupting, nature erupting from underneath the surface, okay? And this volcanic eruption creating lava and spilling out onto the coral reef is disastrous to the fish, to the octopods, to, you know, octopods, is that proper terminology? I think so. You know, to all the sea life. Okay, it was disastrous. It killed many, right? And then it erupted again, and erupted again, and erupted again. And now we have this surface of hard, you know, volcanic rock, right? And then somehow, out of that molten lava and hardened lava rock, this is Aries. This is the sun in Aries. Okay. A sprout. A single tree. A single blade of grass. Okay. And for what there was once nothing but rock, and seemingly an impossible place in this rock. You know, you go out to Utah, you go out to Colorado, you know, you look at the Grand Canyon, and it's just like, whoa, this is just this is a lot of rock. This is a giant hole in the ground. You know, this isn't a place that's constantly watered, and, you know, and at the same time, there's trees. There is life that grows and sustains in those places. Okay, and now we have, more and more trees sprouting up and growing in Hawaii. And if you look at if you've ever been to Hawaii, the trees are phenomenal. They're amazing. It's like they're all one tree, right? So they're these independent things, but all the roots tie in together. Okay, this is us as humanity, sprouting through what seems impossible and all connecting together in unity, right? We're individuals, but at the same time, we're all connected. Wherever you are at right now, we're connected, right? We're connected through technology. We're connected through space, through the ether, through the Ethernet. So we have this opportunity right now to look at disaster, this volcanic lava going through, creating disaster, creating uncertainty, creating chaos, and then growing the flowers, growing and blossoming these beautiful trees out of this chaos. It's destruction, creation, destruction, creation, destruction, creation. So what are we creating during this time? And as individuals, we need to not be paying attention so much to what's happening on social media, what's happening on CNN, or I don't ever watch the news personally, and I'm an active YouTuber. The majority of information I watch, I look through a lot of YouTube stuff, and although I've never looked up a single coronavirus video, it's right at the top of my YouTube every single day in my face. And I hit the little X and I ignore it, or I swipe to get it off the screen. There's a lot of information there that can be useful to a degree. If you're if you're an investigative journalist, dig in, my friends. And if you're not, and you have no will to be, allow yourself some separation from this and find out what it is that makes you tick right now, that makes you happy, to put yourself on a schedule, to put yourself on a regimen, to still wake up at a certain time, a reason to make your bed, a reason to look presentable, even if you're going out, even if you're not going out, you're not seeing a single person. But to take the time to care for yourself. The sun in Aries, this is so important right now. And why we have this connection, this beautiful septile between Mars, our planet of passion, drive, and action, connecting with, our dreams and our intuition and our inspiration and our imagination. It's just like, what do we want to create? What do you want to create in your life that when, it can't rain forever? So when these storm clouds pass, like a pinched hose, it's, you're breaking through, breaking free. And it's just like, here, this is what I've been working on. This is what I've been doing. This is how I've been using this time right now, to create something, to create a life better than what I ever imagined life to be. And we have that right now. And that's what the astrology is telling us. And that's what the astrology is allowing us. This time to sit with ourselves, to work through our shadow, to sit, to be healthy, to try to eat better foods. Again, there's a great purge as well. Like, if there's no work, do we need that cup of coffee? This is acidity. A body in a proper pH balance is alkaline, okay? So we can cut out acidity in our lives. Cut out that morning cup of coffee. Do we absolutely need it? We're purging. Jupiter in Capricorn, this is a limit. Okay, Jupiter in Sagittarius is free. We have all the things that we need. We're of abundance, and we have all the things and all the resources and all this joy. And now it's just like, well, we're limited. We're limited on funds. We're limited on resources. We're limited on what we as individuals, as sovereign beings, can do right now in life. Right? So while we have this limitation to redefine ourselves in what we need as an individual, cutting out sugars, cutting out sodas, do we need that soda? No. The answer is absolutely not. Do we enjoy it? Sure. Do we need it? Is that going to help us right now? When it comes down to pinching pennies, do I need the water? Do I need the soda? Do I need the fruits and vegetables? Do I need, the processed foods, which there's a balance, and we have to figure that out and discern for ourselves on what way to go for that. But this astrology is certainly telling us to minimize those things that we do not need in our lives for the sense of our greater personal health. Yeah. So whatever that may be individually, and again, you're going to miss it, okay? You might miss it for a time being, but then you're going to feel better, rejuvenated, okay? And that's the astrology right now, being rejuvenated. The sun is in Aries. And during this time over the next, 3 days until Saturday, depending whenever you're watching this video, and through Saturday, we have this Mars Neptune connection, okay? We have this Jupiter-Pluto connection, okay? Is a transformation of self, of how we govern ourselves, not just the world at large, not just our government, not just the authority, the outside authority, but the inside authority. And that inside authority needs to be blissful. That inside authority needs to say, yes, I am sticking to this. This is what I'm choosing to do for my health, So we have this opportunity right now, which is really positive, okay? There's a silver lining in every rain cloud, all right? So we have to take this time right now, we can use it wisely, and we can recreate our lives, we can transform our lives, okay? Jupiter-Pluto. We're the phoenix rising out of the ashes individually. And when we can come back together and join in the community, with open arms, giving people hugs. I love you. I missed you. And we can see how much we as individuals have worked through our shadow, have worked through whatever we've needed to during this time of rest, during this time of completion, during this time of great change, to come out better than ever, right? We're the tree sprouting, the first tree sprouting through that lava rock, right? My friends, I wish you all wonderful health, safety during this time for you and your loved ones, right? Breathing deep. I know a couple friends that do have this virus, and they can't breathe deep, they can't hold their breath for more than 10 seconds. And that's one of the things, feeling this heaviness on the chest. I'm a huge fan of Wim Hof. Is how I'm going to end this. Wim Hof, he's got some breathing techniques. I'm also going to start doing some more meditations here on my channel. Breathing classes, 10 minutes, 20 minute, 30 minute breathing exercises. Some meditations with some singing bowls and singing with that to keep ourselves in proper health. Right? We want to keep ourselves in that proper pH. We want to keep ourselves alkaline, filling ourselves with that good prana. Thank you, Ralph Smart. Breathing in that good prana, baby, right? And we want to stay healthy, happy, and alive, and recreate ourselves during this time. All right? So my friends, as always, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow.